Hello, before I start this video, I want to say that there will be some mention of rape and topics that may or may not offend you, so therefore I'm recommending this video for 13 plus. Today I'm starting a new series and a new playlist that'll be about mangas. Today I'm going to be reviewing a manga called Yuki ni Tsubasa, or the English title, Esper Meets Girl. Okay, to get started, the first thing I noticed about this manga is the way they describe the main character. I can understand every aspect about the main character after only 10 pages, which I find outstanding for any manga. The story starts out with a colour page, and inside a girl is playing a flute and talking about if ASP was to really exist. The story then suddenly goes on from the lovely art to a boy with a scarf getting beat up by 8 guys that look roughly the same age as him. These were the first few things I saw after 10 pages, and I instantly could guess that the character was weak and fragile. The art describes his pain, with him shivering in the cold and coughing from being winded. I rarely see the first 10 pages of a manga to be so exciting and dark at the same time, so I think it is an amazing starting point. The next part of the story goes on to telling the reader how he heard a voice that he shouldn't have, with things saying like, "Are you an idiot?" and "You're just another beast who wants sex." This was unexpected yet again, and that's when I realised that this story was just getting started. After the boys go away, the other boy, who was getting kicked, gets up and starts to say, in his head, that uniform, she had to be a high school transfer student from some town by the mountains, as if he could see the transfer student from where he was standing. The next scene is when the boy gets to the school. When the boy gets to the school, this childhood friend called Meg, who is asking the boy if he wants to have sex with him, and that there is no price. The boy ends up saying, while embarrassed, "I'm not good with women," and runs away while he has the chance. I think this scene was not needed, and that there were too many scene changes during the introduction. I also think that if there weren't so many scene changes, more character development could have been picked up on the main character quicker. Getting back to the character's name, getting back to the story, the character's name gets introduced. The boy's name is Tsubasa, or Wings. I love the way the story keeps you waiting until you get the name, and the way they put a meaning into his name is a very good choice by the story writer. Tsubasa goes on to an interesting topic about something called an Esper, and how he has mental powers, but no more is said afterwards, creating a small cliffhanger and a puzzle still to be solved. Tsubasa goes on to saying how his whole life he was being bullied by people and that he was a delinquent while he was in his ring. While in his ring, Tsubasa gets asked by his classmates, or as I like to call it, a gang of junkies, if he wants to have sex with a girl, and that she is doing it, or sex, for free. They then go on to how they know he's a virgin because of how he acted. And then the gang leader, or ringleader, says that he could fix that, but then gets distracted by the time, and realises, the gang leader, that he needs to go to the shrine. When Tsubasa gets home, he watches his TV, and we see that he's watching a program about the thing mentioned at the start of the manga called ASP. After putting all the scenes together, I realised that ASP is a power that Tsubasa has that lets him have certain powers along with other people all over Japan, or the world, but it's only been mentioned in Japan so far. Tsubasa, in the next day, goes to an arcade and starts playing a game. And lots of kids start to surround him because he's really good at it. But then he starts to hear a girl's voice saying, "Help me." And then before he knew it, the screen of the arcade changed into a white screen with text saying, "No." Suddenly the story describes how Tsubasa has this sudden urge to go and save the girl that is in trouble, with Tsubasa himself saying, "I don't usually do this." Tsubasa arrives at the place and realizes that his gang were the one that were causing the girl to scream. The gang leader says that he thought it was the police when Tsubasa came, and someone in the gang says, "He's a virgin, right?" I feel like this change of pace is just what the story needed to keep on going, as I was beginning to feel like this was going nowhere. The girl who was beginning to get raped suddenly got up and kicked both of the boys in the face right in front of Tsubasa, before kicking the rest. This change was not expected, as the main heroine in the story is usually the main heroine in the story is the one who saves the girl, not the girl saves herself. I have never seen this before, which made me confirm in my mind that this was definitely not a shonen. The art in this scene, where she kicks everyone in the face, is one big page and it's done perfectly. I love the fact that they made this page so detailed, as I could see blood, rubble and pain streams just from looking at the picture. From this scene, we also get to see the girl's amazing face and how much thought got put into it. Tsubasa in the process gets kicked in the back of the head, because he was simply there, but does not get knocked out like the rest. Tsubasa also sees how that it was the girl from the other day when he heard a voice, before noticing that she was floating. I personally have no idea how ESP powers relate to floating, but I'll admit it's an interesting concept. The girl collapsed. What I saw next, the writer describes the girl falling and landing straight on Tsubasa, with her top 5 chest buttons out, which I find very interesting and funny. The girl gets back up crying and tries to erase all the boys' memories, which the story says it works. She says to herself what to do with this one, meaning Tsubasa, before saying something funny like, "No, he probably doesn't have pubes yet." Tsubasa notices that his phone is gone, and before he notices, he gets a message from the girl, saying in short, "If you tell anyone my secret, you know what will happen." But the girl had a smile, and it was more in a fun way rather than a threatening way. After this first volume ended, I was thrilled and instantly wanted to read more. Now it's time to show what I rate everything based on art, story, the characters, enjoyment, and just the overall score. So first story, I give this manga a very modest 3 out of 5, because of how the story doesn't progress well enough, and for everything being explained way too slow. For art, I give this manga an excellent mark of 5 out of 5, for the great visuals and always beautiful drawings. For the characters, I give this manga a disappointing 2 out of 5, because there was rarely any character development, which I felt was essential for this type of setting and story. For enjoyment, I give this manga 4 out of 5, because of how they provide me with such great humour in between scenes, and because I personally like mangas with a hint of ecchi and a hint of romance or youth. I give this show an overall score of 6.95 out of 10, because of how great the art is and how the enjoyment of the show strikes me with sad and happy scenes at the same time. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you would like to see more manga reviews like this weekly, just help by listening to my playlists. P.S. I just updated Anime Openings 1 with new content, and fixed all the broken video links. See ya!